click off just because this video looks like shit. I know my camera's garbage. Don't leave. Racist. Now, this, first and foremost, is a mod request video for Skyrim. Now, why am I making a video about it? I think it would be a lot better to convey my ideas vocally through video, where mod makers, can actually hear the idea as it's kind of being thought up. Mostly because when you write things down, you can lose a lot of the heart or the passion for it. So that's pretty much what it is. You know, you can be like, hey, you are pretty, whereas you write it down, it's like, hey, you are pretty. It's like, it doesn't say this. It's a bad example, but shut up. Now, for the most part, this video is kind of directed at Gopher of Gopher Vids on YouTube here. If you don't know who he is, he's done pretty much all the best mods, really, in my opinion. There were really none of his mods that I have not used, with the exception of maybe Advanced Recon Thermal Night Vision mod, just because that's a little too high-tech for my apocalyptic wasteland, and Fiendish Power Armor, simply because, as he said so himself, it's just out of place. I think he did it just because he wanted to see if he could do it. He did it, it looks great, it's just a little too out there for my tastes. Still great, but not my thing. Other than that, every single mod he's done, it's a must-have. Imaginator, Dynavision. He didn't do Imaginator. Never mind. But Dynavision, iHUD, AHUD, OHUD, basically HUD mods. Just so many things. And recently, he has done Pump and Iron. Not recently. That was back in January. But still, whatever. Pump and Iron is a great mod for an immersive type of player like me. And what it basically does is, if you have a very thin character, anywhere, as long as it's not maxed out muscly man, as you train in, like, heavy armor, blocking, two-handed, one-handed, all that stuff, you become, from this little tiny wimp to a big old strong fucking guy. I'm looking at the monitor so I can see how awesome I am, because I'm all buff. But that's the general idea. You go, as he says, from wimp to buff. No, that's not what he says. Doesn't matter. But other than that, Gopher, if you're watching this, I don't think he'll ever see this. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll see this and, be awesome. We've exchanged words before, friendly. We've had a little conversation. Doesn't make me more friends, but, maybe you'll be like, hey, yeah, it's that guy. You never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. That sounds very much like pandering. I should cut this part. My god, that's ungodly bright. Now, the reason why I mention Pump and Iron and explain it to you is simply because the mod idea I have falls into the same category. Hell, it could be a sister mod to it, or part of it, He could expand upon Pump and Iron with this idea. Or anyone could just make this mod. It doesn't just have to be Gopher. I mentioned Gopher because, one, I know he's on YouTube, and two, I trust his mods implicitly. That he's done no wrong when it comes to modding. Every mod works perfectly, and if not, he's right on it to fix it. So, yeah, if anyone's gonna make a mod, I'd rather him do it. So, the mod idea is basically Pump and Iron, as I've just said, but with mages. That's it. Because, frankly, in Skyrim, when you're the hero, you don't feel like the hero when you're a mage. Yeah, sure, you can do some amazingly awesome moves, and, well, not moves, but spells, and summon the undead, and pull a sword out of thin air, and cast a big old bolt of lightning at people, which is fucking awesome. But you just don't look the part. If anything, you kind of look lesser than your teachers. And you're supposed to be the Archmage. And those robes look stupid. So, basically the idea is, as you grow in power, your physical appearance changes. Not muscularly, not taller. Basically, I'm thinking Fable. Remember Fable? That awesome little game that was way overhyped, but turned out to be pretty okay. But then the other two kind of sucked. But we're not talking about them, because they were stupid. But the first one was amazing. And when you grew in your specific field, you grew your body to that specific field. And in the ways of magic, you became more powerful looking. Your hands and feet would become cracked from having to deal with all that arcane energy, and your eyes would start to glow, and you get these cool magical runes that are kind of like tattoos, and they kind of look dumb, but I think the mod makers could really pull that off in Skyrim. Just cool magical glowing tattoos on your face and on your body and on your arms that really show off, hey, don't screw with me, I'm so powerful, magic's just exploding from my body. That alone would be awesome. I mean, do you remember leveling up in Fable? You started out as this little tiny wimp, and then at the end, you were this big, amazing juggernaut that no one would dare screw with. Of course, they screwed with you anyways, and then they died immediately. Now just think about that in Skyrim. I have over 600 magicka. What do I get for it? Nothing except a huge magicka pool. But with this mod, I get cool glowing runes and eyes. To show that I am so full of magic, it can barely be contained within me. But what about conjuration? Well, how about flies and maybe mystical black smoke because you've been channeling the undead? Just not in first person. That shit would get real annoying real fast. Destruction would be simple enough, other than, texture models, but depending on your perks, you could have charred hands, or burned, or they could be frostbitten. Or just general something I can't think of, but I'm sure someone else could. Something that would basically just embody every magical skill. Now, of course, end result, I can't even possibly begin to imagine. I mean, I would think once you have maxed out all magical abilities, you would end up looking like some insane, ridiculously magical creature, but I don't know. I can't picture. Maybe there has to be a limit. Why not have full conjuration and restoration? You can have flies and black smoke following you around, as well as butterflies. And that's pretty much it. That's the idea, really. Just make your character look more powerful the more powerful he becomes. I mean, it can be done with warriors. It doesn't have to be done with sneaky thieves. They just make them small and skinny, and they're instantly fast and agile. Done. But warriors, you gotta make them big and buff. What about wizards? What about mages and witches and all them? They get nothing. They have no archetype other than they look evil or powerful. How are they gonna look powerful in a game where they look like everyone else? That's pretty much it, really. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If anybody is a subscriber to Gopher, tell them about this video and be like, dude, watch the video, maybe you'll get an idea.